Hi, my name is Adam Huxama, and for the last decade, I've worked in both small business lending as well as working with entrepreneurs who are looking to raise investment. And specifically in my role as co-founder of Projection Hub, we've helped thousands of companies create financial projections for their potential lenders and investors. So today, more than ever, our small businesses on Main Street, as well as our high growth and technology companies, really have the same question. How long can my business survive like this? It's a really good but tough question to be asking right now. So in an effort to play our small part in helping companies survive this COVID-19 pandemic, we built just a simple spreadsheet tool that we're making available for free to any business that we hope will help you do some basic cash flow planning. And now what I want to do is just kind of talk you through and walk you through how I'm advising my clients, and then how I hope our spreadsheet tool can help you with your own planning. So first of all, I believe there are essentially two categories of business right now that are negatively impacted by COVID-19. First, there's what I call a cash flow challenged business. And these are businesses that have a product or service that will continue to sell during a national lockdown, but may really struggle with cash flow due to customers paying slowly, customers delaying purchase decisions or making smaller purchase decisions, or maybe the need to just discount your product or service in order to close deals. And then secondly, there's what I call the sales challenged businesses. And these are businesses that will essentially have no sales or dramatically less sales during a complete lockdown or shutdown. So these are the restaurants and retailers, event-based businesses, et cetera, that are just, they're not just facing a slowdown in business, but perhaps 100% decline in sales overnight in some cases. So what can you do? Well, this is really kind of an unprecedented time, and there aren't really any textbooks to go to in order to figure out what to do. So these thoughts are really just my own thoughts in a rapidly changing situation. For a sales challenge business, I think your goal is really just to figure out how to survive in order to be able to reopen when the lockdowns are lifted. And I think for many small businesses, this is likely going to mean temporary layoffs of your employees, temporarily not paying nearly any of your bills, perhaps. And I know for small businesses, this may just not be an option. It's not even an option to pay your bills because you won't have any cash to continue paying rent, utilities, loan payments, employees, et cetera, when you have no sales at all. So in my mind, your best bet is just to try to hibernate. Take care of your employees as best you can, take care of your family as best you can so that you have a chance to reopen when the bans are lifted. For businesses in this situation, calculating how long your business can survive is pretty simple. You're just going to take any sales that you still expect to have, minus any cost of goods sold expenses that are directly related to those sales, minus your absolutely necessary overhead expenses that you just have to pay each month. And that equals your cash burn per month. Then take your current cash in the bank and divide by your cash burn per month, and you'll get a number of months that you can survive. So now for the cash flow challenge businesses, I'm going to go through a similar process, but a bit more complex. So let's talk through it. Now, first, remember that a cash flow challenge business is a business that is still selling. So there's still demand for your product or service, but maybe the demand has reduced a bit, or maybe your supply chain is broken and you're having trouble getting inventory. Maybe your customers are just paying you very slowly during this time. So I think this exercise can still be pretty simple. You're going to list your typical cash received from sales in a given month. Let's say it's $20,000. Next, you're going to list your typical cash outflows for a month. So just go through and list line by line for various cash flow categories. Essentially, these will be your overhead expenses plus your loan payments. So advertising, insurance, wages, supplies, utilities, loan payments, etc. Now let's assume these cash outflows all add up to $15,000 per month. Now you'll have your total cash inflows from sales and your total cash outflows from expenses and debt payments. In order to calculate how long you can survive without any changes, we need just two more data points. We need your gross profit margin percentage and your current cash balance in the bank. Let's assume your gross profit margin is 40% and your current cash balance is $15,000. As a reminder on how to calculate your gross profit margin, let's say you sell a product for $100 and it takes you 1 hour of labor to make the product at $15 per hour labor cost, and it takes $25 worth of materials for a total cost of goods sold of $40. Now, if you sell that item for $100, you have a $60 gross profit. $60 divided by $100 means you have a 60% gross profit margin. Now finally, let's calculate how many months you can survive without making changes to what you wrote down so far. So the calculation will be your cash received from sales times your gross profit margin minus cash outflows from expenses and debt payments equals cash provided from operations. So in our example, this would be $20,000 times 60% minus $15,000 equals negative $3,000. So we're burning $3,000 in cash per month. Now the final step to determine how many months of runway you have to weather this storm, take your cash in the bank, which we said was $15,000, and divide that by 3,000. That's the 3,000 that you're losing each month, and you'll get 5. So you have 5 months at this pace before you're out of cash. Now what I would suggest that you do is go back and start to play with different scenarios. What if you don't receive the full $20,000 in cash from sales per month? What if your customers pay you more slowly or cut back more than you expect? So for example, if you had a 50% drop in sales, in this scenario, you would have a $9,000 cash loss each month, and you'd have less than 2 months of cash runway. So it's a big difference here, and so that percentage of sales and how much that drops is really going to make a big difference. So then what you can really start doing is playing around with cutting expenses and see how much extra time that gives you. Now obviously you want to give yourself as much time as possible to weather this, so we don't know how long it's going to take for things to go back to normal. So please go through this exercise, use our template if it's helpful, and prepare so that we can all get through this together. Finally, just as a reminder, the cash flow template is built specifically for you to try to figure out how long you can last during this downturn, and it's free to download. Hope this was helpful, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. Thank you.